Now, recently, throughout the lifespan of SnowRunner, following the previous update, there have been a lot of opinions flying around the internet about the Ford F750. Now, obviously, one of those opinions is that it needs more power, it doesn't have enough power, and it feels like it's dragging its own weight. It feels like it's, like it's dragging itself along by its front legs, like this, and it's not really going anywhere, especially when you have any weight behind it, or when you're trying to get up a steep hill, or whenever the driveline gets twisted up to any capacity. So, what I've done is I've brought along 3 different variants of the F750. Now, on my left, on the far left of the screen, we have the F750 SE. In the middle, we have the F750S, which are both mods. And then we have the F750 Base, as I'm going to call it, which is the one that comes standard from the game. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be comparing these 3 variants of the F750, and then I want you guys to be the decision makers as far as which one you think would fit best into the game, which one you think is the most balanced, and which one you think would be the most fun to use. So, with that being said, let's get into the testing portion of this video, and let me just make it clear that the reason why I'm doing this is because I love this truck. I think it's a wonderful truck. I love the way it looks. I love the concept of it. I love the idea of it being in the game. I just wish that there were some little issues with it that would be solved. So that's why we're doing this deep dive study into some of the 3, well, I should say these 3 variants of this truck. So, without any further ado, let's dive right into it. So we're going to have to disable the free cam, and first thing we have to do is, I thought I disabled free cam, but oh, it's because I don't have any of them selected. So, let's go ahead and get in the 750 base. First, we'll fire it up, and we'll take it into the garage, and we'll do a quick build. And obviously, there's not much to do with the base 750 that you guys haven't seen already, but just in case you haven't seen it, we're going to run through it real quick. So, we're going to go with the biggest engine. We're going to go with, well, the custom box is already in it, tuned custom suspension. We're going to go with the biggest tires we can fit, which I believe is a 45. Since we're not on a winter map, we're going to use a 45-inch off-road tire. And one of my biggest gripes right here is something with this thing anyway that I can talk about right off the bat, and that is the fact that this thing comes with off-road tires but not true mud tires, and that in itself is a huge setback for it. So we're going to do 45-inch off-road tires. Winch, we're going to do an autonomous scout because that just makes the most sense. Pickup bed and utility mount to fill the little gap there. And then we're going to do a tall front-facing snorkel, engageable all-wheel drive, and diff lock is obviously always locked. And we're going to do a, we'll do an out-rolled exhaust just for style. And then we'll leave the parking lights on it. We'll do the roof fogs. And front bumper, we'll do the Hunter bumper because it's my favorite bumper for this thing. F750 wheels, and I was going to leave the color alone, but for the purposes of, oh dear lord, for the purposes of this build, I'll actually do the blue, because the blue is actually really good looking. So, that is going to be your fully built base F750. Now, in this form, it can be a very good truck, however, it can be a little bit underwhelming in terms of capability. Now, I know there are some people out there in the community that say, well, the reason why it feels underpowered is because they want it to feel realistic. And I get that approach, I get that opinion, I really, really do. But at the same time, I find that approach to be just slightly short-sighted because when I say it's underpowered, I mean it's really underpowered. So now, let's build the F750S. So, we'll finish with the SE, and I'm sure you guys can already see one of the biggest differences that the SE provides, but we're going to build the S first instead. So, building the S. Now, the S approaches the garage in the same way the standard truck would, but there are a lot of different engines, like, for example, a Caterpillar C7 inline 6, Cummins ISB inline 6, I mean, Ford Modular 6.8 liter V10. There's a lot of different. There's also the HET 10V, which is also, I think that's one of the base engines in the game. So I'm actually going to throw that one in. Well, these are all like immediate S plus, and I don't know. I love how they've included like descriptions with these though. Like for example, the modular 6.8 liter V10. It says basically it's another variation of the modular family created for use in large trucks. It's increased power, making it a faster engine, but due to its modularity, causes increased fuel consumption. It's an expensive engine swap to make. Now, the Cummins ISB Inline 6 is a slightly more powerful and more fuel-efficient engine than the Caterpillar engine, but is a lot less durable. And then you get the Cat 3126 turbocharged 7.2-liter inline-6 diesel engine manufactured by Caterpillar. It's a strong and durable engine, but very fuel-thirsty. I'm going to throw the modular 6.8-liter V10 in this one. So we'll do Special Edition gearbox, which I don't know exactly what that does. Tuned custom, well, I'm sure it adds extra ratios, but now here we have the option of going up to a 48-inch off-road tire. However, this mod also only includes off-road, so it does not include technically mud terrain tires. So we'll go with a 48-inch UOD3, and the 48s definitely fill it out a lot better. Autonomous Scout, pickup bed, and utility mount, snorkel, tall front facing, and engageable all-wheel drive. So right off the bat, the truck looks much beefier, much more ready to take on, you know, mud fields or pits or anything like that. This one I'll throw a flap cap exhaust on. And we'll leave the factory parking lights on it. And the same, let's see, the same bumper setup, the same light setup. And as far as colors go, just to change it up a little bit, we'll do this sort of like white and like kind of reddish brown on this one. And we'll see what happens when we fire this one up. Well, I can definitely tell you it feels a lot faster. It's a lot peppier, like, right out of the gate. Now, I'm sure that this one would not have any power issues, and also, as you can see, it seems to have more steering angle, which is an interesting change. I don't know how I feel about that one, but that could be something that could be implemented into this truck in the future. So now, we're going to finish off our rounds of customization with the F750 SE, and right off the bat, it has mud terrain dualies, and the mud terrain dualies almost give it that sort of like tractor pull truck look, but at the same time, we're going to go through the same customization process and see what we can do. Now we have, let's see, 40, 44, 50, a 6V50, and Special Edition engine, which they kind of leave me no choice. I wish I had the engine options from the S available in this one, but alas, we really have no such luck. So, Special Edition transmission, tuned custom, and then Special Edition firm or Special Edition soft. I'm going to leave it on the tuned custom just to be sort of in line with the other two trucks. And then this, we basically get 43-inch Special Edition MSH3 or Special Edition YAR. I kind of prefer the MSH3 over the YAR, but that would be personal preference, up to you. Autonomous Scout, spare wheel, I'm not going to worry about that. Pickup bed, and whoa, we can do a maintainer on this one. That's really cool. Actually, it basically gives you the upgrades off of the TUZ-16 Action, which is kind of a cool addition there. We could do the flatbed, but I'm going to do the utility mount again to match the other two. And tall front facing. Ooh, twin front facing out the back. That's kind of different. I don't know if I like the way that looks, though. And then engageable all-wheel drive. Exhaust is going to be... Oh, man, we've got a bunch of crazy options for this. Those are huge, cartoonishly huge, but I'll do them anyway because I feel like it's kind of a cool thing. It's kind of a cool, like, add-on to do. And then, because this thing's over the top anyway, we do have a couple of... we'll do the Hunter bumper. I just think it looks so much better than all the other options. I will stick with, we'll do these wheels. And then for this one's color scheme, we need, whoa, oh, dude, these are sick. These are sick. I love the bright colors that they give you the option to use. That's really, really cool. That's really cool. Okay, I am going to use, I love this, the red and white, I love that. All right, so this thing is going to be sort of your cartoonishly good one, but... like, even though the dualies extend way further past the fenders than they really should, it doesn't make me upset, like, at all. It doesn't make me whatsoever upset. So, I'm going to drive the, let's see, well, we have 3, and unfortunately, we can't, like, hitch all of them together. So, I'm going to bring you with me. I think that's the base. If I'm not mistaken, that's the base. And I'm going to take... there we go. I'm going to take the quick route over to a couple of mud tests and a couple of hill tests. And I just want to get a baseline idea of how the 3 different variants perform. Now, it looks like we're heading for the bridge. I know it looks like we're heading for the bridge, but trust me, we're not. We're actually going to make a quick detour through here. And I'm going to throw this one in high because I feel like, wow, it's actually not all that fast in high, even with the, like, the tuned custom, like, special engine. So, keep in mind also, too, keep in mind in the comments, I want to know which one, even, like, so far through the customization process, has been y'all's favorite. Because there are so many different things to consider with this truck that, I mean, I don't think they would ever do what they did, like what the modder did with this variant. I don't think they would ever do that in the base game, like, you know, give you dually MTs in the back. Like, I wish they would, but I doubt that they will. And I mean, this is honestly the coolest thing about it. And I know everybody loves to, like, rag on tweaked trucks, but this is the kind of truck tweaking that I can really genuinely appreciate and approve of, because you're looking for ways to make an underwhelming truck better. Because I do find this truck to be underwhelming because visually, this truck is wonderful. Visually, it's one of the best trucks that they've ever put in the game, I think. But in terms of performance, it's very underwhelming, and it could have been so much better. And I think they really missed an opportunity with it in the performance department. Wow, when you put it in automatic, it really speeds up. Like, it speeds up so much. We're going to do a baseline test in the mud field, and then we're also going to do a baseline hill climb test with the 3 variants. So we've got those 2 over there, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab the S750. Oh, wait, that was the S. Oh, crap, so I have to actually grab them. So the one over here is the base. Ouch. What's funny is when you're driving the base on flat ground, it doesn't actually feel that slow. It's only whenever you get into any sort of hilly environment that it feels very, very much like it's struggling. Let's take the base through here and just see how it does. I mean, see, look, high through there in the base, like, literally bogs it out completely. It just stops. It cannot continue on. It's like the engine is fighting to turn the tires. Absolutely fighting to turn the tires. Never mind even, like, spinning them. It's fighting to even turn them. So let's get you over to the mud area, and we'll see what you could do. And also, the horn, underwhelming to this day. Absolutely underwhelming to this day. Just so ridiculously underwhelming. I can't stand it. I can't deal. I just can't deal, man. Alright, well, let's put this thing through a mud test first. We're going to do all these mud tests in high, in the base mud, like in the beginning mud field. It makes it through okay, but I guarantee you this one will sink it. In terms of high, anyway. Look, like, it just completely bogs it out and kills it. It just jumps right in, and then it bogs it out and kills it, and it's done. So, that was a very short-lived test for the base model, I know, but honestly, there wasn't really much to test. Alright, now time for the SE with the dually MTs in the back. Now, obviously, this thing should make short work of this particular mud field, so I'm not really going to spend all that much time in that one. But I will tell you the turning radius kind of suffers a little bit, but same mud lane as the other one, and what do you know? What do you know? Also, in before the stock game people light up the comments with, well, that's because it's OP. I'm like, all right, bud. Keep in mind we're still in high, and it's still fighting for it. In the deep mud, like the deep mud, it's genuinely fighting for it. Now, I know that it will completely drown itself out in the big mud hole, so I'm not going to take it in there, but I mean, even in high range, spinning away, it actually did it, and I'm very impressed that it actually did it. That's really respectable, actually. It just went to town, went to work, and got it done. All right, now time for one more, and that is the S. The S is sort of the wild card here, because while we're only working with an off-road tire as opposed to an MT, it's got a lot more power due to that V10 swap. And it should make short work of just about whatever we throw in front of it, again, because of the really tall tires and the V10. Now, it's starting to spin, but that's all right. Low plus does very well here. Low plus does very well here. Impressive, though. The best one in the mud is the SE. With the smaller yet wider MTs in high, it was like walking all over the SE. Oh my god, the SE is like just about stuck. Goes to show that compound is better than, like, tire compound is better than tire size. Wow. That's a big difference. I mean, all right, I'm going to go ahead and call the SE the overall winner of the mud test. I'm just going to drive this one out of here because I mean, there's no point in continuing to drive it in here. No point at all in continuing to drive it in here. It's just, like, it did that badly. This thing was almost no better than the base model, honestly. Which is really sad when you think about it. Let's change over to the base real quick, and we'll get these over to their final test, which is a hill climb test, and ow. Oh, I forgot, there was a pebble in front of the tire. Can't go into high when there's a pebble in front of the tire, because that's realistic, apparently. Alright, the hill climb lane we're going to do is this one right here, and I'm going to attempt it in the base model first. Let's go! Remember, this is a fully built base model, and it stalls like 3/4 of the way up. Won't go any further. Back you out of the way. Or I should say, begins to stall. Now, swapping over to the... Wow, it put me in the... All the way from over there. It put me in the SE. Really? Not... Or sorry, not the SE, the S. Alright, now it's the S's turn. Power and bigger tires. Wow, the SE is definitely your hill climber. It walked that right out of the gate. Alright, I'm going to move it up a little bit so it's not in the way of the SE. And we'll see how the SE does, because that was very respectable. Alright, let's shut you down. Grab the SE. Fire it up. High range. High range is definitely not as fast. Tires aren't as big. But look at, like, all the grip in the world. And it just, like, may have gone up the hill slowly, but even so, it went up it very, very, very well. So, that actually is very telling, and it goes to show that it's not the tire size, and you don't need a ton of extra power, but this SE only has a little bit more power. A little bit more power and torque than the base version, and it's so much better to play with. I would probably dial it back just a hair just to keep the balance in, but I want to know from you guys which one you think would be the best to start with as a revision for the base F750, because I think there's so much potential in this truck, and I wish the developers had realized that, but I feel like they really made it way too weak. So, if you enjoyed this video, then let me know in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.